morning. Today is Thursday. It's the 26th of the month of September, and I thank you for being with us. This is WGTV Today.
Yes, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. We've got lots of great information on the show for you today. Let's talk about the interviews, Wayne.
Well, first of all, my name is Wayne Alley. I forgot
are
to
you?
mention that.
And I'm Kim Best.
And she's Kim Best. And thank you for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't do it without you.
All right. Who's on today's program?
Well, you talked with Jessica Strickland from Wayne County Cooperative Extension.
Yes.
And what did you guys talk about?
Well, we talked about a little bit of everything, but we also included pecans.
Pecans.
We talked about pecans and a bunch of other stuff too. Just wait till you hear that. She is so knowledgeable about things. She's doing a great job as a horticulture agent for the County of Wayne.
That's right. And you talked with also LaShaunne Moore.
I did. Sean Moore and I talked about, she's the Veteran Services Officer here in Wayne County. We talked about her office and what she does and things.
You'll have to stay tuned and see for yourself.
Right. Today's the 26th. Guess who's having a birthday?
Who?
Olivia Newton-John.
Well, happy birthday, Olivia.
Yeah, way to go. The big O there.
That's right.
Well, the big O, actually, I guess is Oprah, isn't it?
Yeah,
But anyway, this is another O. Olivia Newton-John is 64 years today.
She looks great.
James Caviezel. And if you don't know that name, he's done everything. He is he's done a lot of Broadway, but he is an extremely talented actor. I like him a lot. He's in the show on TV, Person of Interest.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So he's done a lot of Broadway, huh?
He's done some Broadway. He was in a movie, I believe he played the part of Jesus Christ in the movie here.
Jesus Christ Superstar?
No, that's not the movie. That was before.
Passion of Christ?
Yes. And I believe he was in that one, but he is such a...
He was Jesus.
He was Jesus, yeah, and he's an extremely talented actor. Anyway, I like him a lot. He's 44 today. James Caviezel. Also, Serena Williams, a tennis star, is having a birthday. She's 31 today.
Boy, those girls are doing fantastic. They continue to win every time they're up for something in the tennis world.
Aren't they amazing?
Continue to win
really
championships.
Who would have thought? Kent McCord. Does that name ring a bell?
Nope.
Kent McCord played Officer... What's his name in the TV show Adam 12? Officer.
It'll come to you.
It will eventually. Anyway, he was the younger rookie cop, if you will, in Adam 12.
Okay.
Melissa Sue Anderson. Now, people know who she is. She was on Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
Played the role of Mary. Good night, Mary. Good night, John Boy. Anyway, Little House on the Prairie. She is 50 today.
Oh my gosh.
Donna Douglas having a birthday.
Yeah, I remember
Ellie
Donna
Mae
Douglas.
Clampett, yeah. Ellie
I
Mae's
loved her
having
character.
I know, I did too. She's having a birthday. She is 79 today.
That was another show as a child that I watched all the time.
I know.
Did
Wasn't it
love that show.
Wasn't that
the
a great
Beverly
program?
Hillbillies.
That's exactly right.
You start hearing the music in your head.
Come and listen to a story about a man named Jerry.
Yep, that's exactly right.
There you go.
Oh, sorry, we're just reminiscing.
Yeah,
Pay us no mind.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yes, we're reminiscing. Go ahead.
You got issues with that word?
I have issues, yes. Boy.
Guess what opens today?
What?
The Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair.
Oh, boy.
Opens this morning, 8 a.m.
Does it? Okay.
That's what it says.
Well...
So we're going to believe it.
Well, okay. If it says it, then it's got to be. So there you go. The Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair is underway.
10 days
today.
of fun.
10 days.
Count
them.
them.
Yeah. Count them 1 through 10. And
is there anything special happening this very first day? I know you have your whole book over there.
I happen to have the catalog.
Surprise!
Yes, here we go. Let me take a look at the catalog.
Why don't
today.
you? They have a fancy, nice catalog with
telling
pictures and events and sponsors and anything you want to know about the fair is in this book.
Not only do they win for the catalog each year, but they win so many different awards presented to our own regional fair right here in Wayne County.
Right.
It's an amazing show.
You know, what do you look forward to every year? What's your favorite thing about the fair? Because I have several.
Well, so do I, but I enjoy the food, of course.
Don't we all? But is there any specific thing you always look forward to?
I have to work the fair, part of it.
Oh, really? What do you do?
I work the spelling bee, contest.
That's right. I forget you do that every year.
Yeah, I do the spelling contest every year.
Can you spell?
Nah. But I read
It don't matter.
I can read the word, though.
Oh.
And I have been, up until now, I've been calling the words.
Oh, the word caller.
I was the word caller.
The official word caller.
Official. But this year,
woohoo!
Things have changed.
Oh.
I'm still the director. However, I will not be calling the words. We have somebody else doing that this year.
Do we?
And I tell you what, let me go ahead and say right now, and the spelling contest is Tuesday night in the entertainment arena in the big yellow building out near the highway.
Yes.
And I just want to say right now that we could not successfully perform our spelling contest with all these youngsters and everything without the tremendous help of two entities. One being the Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair and the Wayne County Livestock Development Association, the owners of the fair. And the second is Wayne Community College.
Really?
They are an extremely supportive with Danny Rollins and the department out there offering help with judges and everything else. Wayne Community College just doing a wonderful job helping with the spelling contest every year for many years now.
Wonderful.
And they do not receive credit for that, as they should receive credit for that, but they're a big help.
So you enjoy the food and the spelling bee.
Well,
there's
and
your two
other
biggies.
Things. Yeah.
If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, well, and I used to ride. I don't ride the rides anymore
Me
because
neither.
I just don't ride the rides anymore.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat food.
Me
you
too.
know? You know,
Just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
Part of life.
That's the way it is. So I like that. I like some of the exhibits and displays. I like a lot of different things. I tell you what I do like.
What?
I like to watch the young people. I like to watch kids. I like to watch
excitement.
people enjoy the fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a person. People kind of watch your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back, I'll talk about my favorite part of the fair.
Stay tuned. I want to hear
tuned.
this. Yeah. In the studio with Jessica Strickland, the horticulturist with the Cooperative Extension Service. Hello.
Hey, how are you
doing?
Doing good.
Great to see you.
Yes,
Thanks for
good
being
to see
here.
you.
Wow. The weather's changing.
It is.
We've
yeah.
had a tremendous amount of rain.
We have.
We've had some warm temperatures, some, not many.
Right.
The crops are great. The flowers are blooming. We got bloomers everywhere. Okay. Anyway, things are really looking good. And you brought some show and tell with us, but we're going to talk about pecans here in just a moment, okay?
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to ask you, what do we need to be doing in the lawn or in the garden this time of year?
Probably one of the most important things is to start preparing your lawn for winter weed problems. Usually these winter weeds like henbit with the purple flower, annual bluegrass, which is the little kind of tufts of green grass you see in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah.
And we get a lot of calls in January and February about these weeds.
And what do you call the little tufts again?
Annual bluegrass.
Oh, yeah, bluegrass.
And these are annual winter weeds. They produce seed and they germinate late summer into fall. So a lot of people don't think about them now, but this is going to be the time to put a pre-emergent herbicide down to catch them as they germinate and keep them from coming up through the winter.
If you could only make money with henbit, I would be a rich man, let me tell you. And chickweed?
Yep, chickweed's another good one.
Oh,
yeah.
man, that stuff is terrible.
It is.
But it is pretty.
Yeah.
But it's terrible.
And a lot of times when we get calls in January and February, there's not much you can do at that point because it's already produced seed, it's already flowered, and it's getting ready to die back at that time. Okay. But now's the time to start putting that pre-emergent herbicide down.
Right now. Okay, give me, and we're not here promoting any sort of brand or anything like that, but give me a brand.
And we can give a lot of examples of chemicals if you call our office, but one good example is with centipede grass, atrazine works well as a pre-emergent herbicide.
And you'll see that on the label.
Yeah, the little tiny print says active ingredient. That's where you would see that chemical.
Active ingredient.
And it's sold under different brand names.
Yeah. Okay, atrazine. Okay, that takes care of, that's a pre-emergent. That takes care of weeds.
It does. Your annual winter weeds. Now, if you've got perennial weeds, those are tougher to deal with, like Florida betony or you know, some clovers are more difficult to deal with. But this controls those annual winter weeds that germinate during late summer to early fall. They bloom, they flower, leaf, bloom during the winter time, and then they'll produce seed and die. And those seeds germinate again the next year. Yeah.
Okay. Atrazine on the label, active ingredient atrazine, and it doesn't have to be a large amount percentage-wise.
And that's just one example. And if you call our office, we can give you other options, especially if you've got Bermuda and some of those other grasses. We can give some options.
And that's mainly for annual.
Yes, it is.
The perennial weeds.
Yeah,
that's another problem.
Those take a lot of persistence and a lot of work.
Yeah. Okay. You're talking about Bermuda grass. I have seen some in fact in my yard. I have seen in a clear area where the Bermuda grass is starting to run. You get some long strands running. So you don't want to throw that away. You want to
You can
take
use
that
them.
and replant it.
That's right. You can use it. If you've got some bare spots, you can take those runners and place them in those bare spots and let them root and you know, fill in. So that's an easy way to fill those spots in your lawn.
And you see that primarily with lawns that have a little age on them.
That's right.
It's
Yes.
been there for a
Yeah,
while. All of
and-
a sudden, the grass will start running. It'll take off and run
Yes.
across a bare spot.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
even centipede will do that. You'll see centipede that'll
Oh,
have
really?
runners,
Okay.
and you can cut them and, you know, place them in some bare areas to root
Yeah.
and fill in.
And you cover them with a little bit of dirt, and then they'll
Yeah.
just take off.
They will.
After a while.
Yeah.
What about this? Let's say if they're running across a bare area, can you would it be advisable to say take a shovel and just chop them up? Will they spread faster that way?
It's possible they could. It would probably help, especially a bare area, to kind of loosen up the dirt a little bit, so those runners get better established. I think that's one thing. Usually those bare spots have a little compaction or something. That if you loosen it up, that'd probably help them get established.
And you know, that's a good point you bring up, because the compaction is not good for soil,
Right.
especially in sandy soil. If you think sandy soil being loose,
Yeah, you don't think of it compacting, but it
No, it
can.
can.
Our clay soils tend to be in the western part of the state, tend to compact more so than sandy soils, but it is possible you can get compaction in sandy soils, and we do have, you know, some soils around here that have some clay in it, so that they can get compacted.
I've experienced compaction in my, I live in the southern part of the county. Sandy loam is the soil type. And the amount of rain we've had, and at times very hard rain, will compact the soil.
It will, yeah, it can. It can kind of create just a little crust, or if it's a lot of rain, you know, it can create a pretty good layer there of compaction.
What do you do if you end up with a little bit of moss?
Moss, there's a few things that go on that cause moss. Sometimes it's just moisture, too much moisture. A lot of times, look at the drainage. If you've got a drainage problem, you need to correct that. That can prevent moss. Soil compaction can cause moss to fill in those bare areas where the grass won't fill in.
Yeah.
So there's a few things like that. Also, your soil fertility, your soil pH, and things can prevent grass and plants from growing, but the moss can survive there.
Okay. Okay. So, what about aeration? Is this a good time of year to do that?
You can aerate your lawn, and what that does, that helps with relieving compaction and loosening up the soil, allows for more air to get in the soil, because your roots need not only water, they do need oxygen, and that's why compaction can be detrimental to some plants, is you're eliminating the space for oxygen. So it can help. You can do that. It can stress the lawn a little bit. So, but you know, if and thatching, you know, you can add, you know, thatching's where you're pulling up the loose grass clippings. So really, only if you feel like you need it, do you need to do that. Otherwise, you know, if your lawn's doing well and everything seems okay, then you don't have to worry about it. That's right.
Okay. Okay. In some of the bare areas I have, and I have a few, I've taken a potato fork. And a 4-pronged potato fork, and just stick it in the ground, kind of loosen that soil up a little bit, and that seems to help.
Yeah, and you can just loosen those little spots here and there if you don't feel like you need to aerate the entire lawn, and then just touch those spots.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. And it seems like there was something else that I was going to ask, but I forget, and I'll just save that for the next time. How's that?
Yes.
All right. Now, if we can get our cameraman up here, we're going to take a look at some of these things here. What are these green things you have here?
These are pecans, and I brought these in because we have had a lot of calls here recently, probably in the past 2 weeks. We've had a really high number of calls, more so than normal, about people saying that pecans were falling from their trees prematurely. And they were falling while they were green, and then, you know, when they crack them open, there's not, you know, the nuts either rotted in there, or it's, you know, just not formed very well.
So the pecan's not supposed to look like that when it comes off the tree.
No, and they're really, you know, not supposed to come off the tree yet, because they're not ready to even come off the tree yet.
Okay.
So when these fall premature, you've pretty much, you know, lost your chance of getting.
Now that looks brown on camera, but actually that's green, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we've got some green ones there, and then some brown ones mixed in.
All right. Now that's brown. I mean, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But now, they're not supposed to be falling yet. When do they normally fall?
Normally, you're talking about a little bit later in the fall. You know, fall going into maybe late fall into early winter.
Okay.
Is usually what you're looking at. But, you know, people that's finding them on the ground are cracking them open and there's not much of a nut there inside.
What's the problem?
Could be a few things. One thing is we have always a challenge with the pecan weevil. And the pecan weevil is a small insect that flies up into the tree, usually in August and into September. And he has a little snout for a nose or a mouth where he punctures the nut, and then the eggs end up inside there, and then when the nuts fall to the ground this fall and winter, the larvae, the little worm, usually people crack them up and say, I found a worm in there, and you see a little hole where the worm has went out and went back in the ground. They stay in the ground, and then next late August, early September, they form adults and start again.
Sneaky rascals.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
They're
are.
sneaky. But I think usually we recommend that you start spraying with 7 around the tree, around the ground, where they're going to emerge. You start usually late August into September. But when we have significant rainfall, that changes when they come out of the ground because it loosens up the ground. They tend to come out a little early. We've had so much rain this year. The feeling is that they've probably emerged from the soil earlier and caused the problem where they've punctured the nuts and the nuts have fell, you know, prematurely now.
Okay.
So that could be one of the possibilities. It's very likely. The other one is pecan scab, which goes back to when we have a lot of rain, a lot of moisture. It's a disease that gets on the leaves, on the nuts, and usually you end up with some black spots on there. And what happens when these black spots kind of start to get together, you know, meet up, then you end up with the whole shuck turning black. It prevents photosynthesis, and then, you know, your nut's not going to finish forming, and they fall prematurely. So there's a couple of possibilities, probably leaning more towards pecan weevil just showed up earlier this year because of all the rain we had and the soil was looser. It's very possible, but I've seen a lot of samples come in with scab on them also.
Okay. Okay. So again, how do we handle this? Is there anything we can do?
With the pecan weevil, you still can get some later generations emerging from the soil. So still, I would go ahead with the practice of, you know, spraying about every 7 to 14 days around the base of the tree near the ground.
The base of the tree. Now, the 7, of course, doesn't hurt the tree.
No, it's an insecticide, and this is going to hopefully catch some of the weevils as they're emerging from the ground. The other thing you can do, and this helps with scab and weevils, is to rake all these up and pick them up. Because if the weevil has punctured and put eggs into the nut, the larvae is going to go into the ground if you leave the nut there this winter.
Right.
So if you can rake all these up now, you possibly can reduce the population over time that's in the ground. In the same way with scab, that disease, that fungus hangs around you know, over winter. So if you can rake any of this up, get it away from the tree, and remove it from the area, it can help with both of them quite a bit. You
know, you're talking about cleaning up under the tree. That's an important part of maintaining your yard is cleaning up, making sure that you don't have this problem.
That's right.
With the scab and with the
it does
bugs
with most diseases, and even, you know, with insects, a good cleanup of the garden or landscape in the fall into the winter can help reduce those disease problems for next year. It doesn't eliminate them, but it does reduce it over time if you have good practices of cleaning up. If you leave this stuff around, then you're just letting it harbor there and letting it build up a higher population over time.
Okay. Okay. Now, question.
Yes.
7 dust is a chemical.
That's right.
There may be someone who's a bit nervous about using chemicals around the trees and around the house and around such. Is there an alternative? Does the soap work?
Probably not going to be too effective with it, and even with 7, it helps, but it's hard. You're not going to catch all the weevils. This weevil is tricky in that some climb up the tree, so a lot of times it was thought if you spray the base of the tree, they're going to climb up and you'll catch them that way. But some of them fly, so
sneaky rascals.
Yeah, so it might be that you might not catch all of them. So it can help, but it's not going to be a guarantee anyway. The raking up, cleaning up can help. And then sometimes it's just going to be, some years are going to be worse than others with them.
Well, anyone who's growing pecans are probably well aware of how to take care of these trees.
Right.
And if you're new to this, this is what you'll find is what Jessica has described here this morning. So if you have any questions about this, how do they call you or contact
They
you?
can contact our office at 919-731-1520.
Okay, 731-1520. And one final question.
Yes.
Even though the temperatures are mild, this is not the right time to be pruning, is it?
No, it's not the best time to be pruning. Your plants are going to start as we get cooler weather, just kind of slowing down, going dormant, and it's not the best time because when you prune, you're encouraging a flush of growth,
New growth,
and you don't need that new growth and on top of stressing the plant when it's trying to slow down for the winter.
All right, so do not do your pruning just yet.
Yes.
Wait a few months for that.
That's
Wait
right.
until at least February or so,
Yes.
right? All right, if you have a problem with your pecans, call Jessica, 731-1520.
Yes.
And let's see, what else do we have? Of course, the fair's coming. We talked
It
about
is,
that
yeah.
with Eddie Pitzer in another interview. So you're going to be out at the fair, right?
Oh yes, we'll be there.
Oh,
yes, we
yes.
have our master gardeners, and they have their demonstration gardens, which look really spectacular this year.
I tell you what,
And
we
it's
have,
great.
you have done such a great job with the master gardeners.
Well, and they're a wonderful group,
Yes, they
and
are.
I have to give them the credit. They do a great job.
All right,
Yeah.
and it seems like there was one other question I had. Oh boy, I'm just so full of questions. But I'll tell you what, 731-1520 is the Master Gardeners telephone
Yes,
clinic?
they do have their plant clinic. The number there is 919-731-1433.
That's right.
And they're open Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So they'll be open this week and then next week, but they close on the 18th. So there's just a couple, 2 or 3 more times that you can use that resource
Okay,
this
they're
year.
closed for the season.
Yeah, they'll close for the season and open up next March.
But if you have a question between now and then,
Yes.
and you can't catch them when they are open, you can call and leave a message.
Yes, you can.
And they will call you back. Wow, such great information. Jessica Strickland of the Cooperative Extension Service, our horticulture agent here in Wayne County. You do a great job, and thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being with us today.
Thanks.
All right. Today we're talking with Sean Moore. Sean is the Veteran Service Officer here in Wayne County. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Always,
Yourself?
thank you. I'm doing great. Always good to see you, Sean. Thanks for
thank you.
coming in. Recently, there was a visioning session held about and for veterans. What was your take on that? Explain, give me a little background on what took place.
Well, with the new Veteran Services Advisory Board, they wanted to get an idea of what the veterans in Wayne County really needed. So they brought together some of the different agencies that they would need or go through as they're processing out of the military, along with the different service organizations, because they felt like they were the ones that probably hear the majority of the complaints or wishes or that kind of thing of what the veterans, talk about is missing from Wayne County.
Yeah.
So they got all these organizations together to find out, what it is that they do for the different veterans to ensure that there's continuity of services and that there isn't an overlapping of services. Even though we want to help the veterans, for them to be able to know where to go, when to go, and all that kind of stuff is very important.
Right.
And so that was basically the point of the visioning session, so we can get an idea, so the board could get an idea of kind of what direction to go in as far as the areas that really need some attention here in Wayne County.
Were any decisions actually made about what was needed and what direction you will be going in?
Well, no. Again, it was just to give the board an idea. So they will take the ideas that were brought up in the session back to their regular meeting. And from there, they will decide on which ideas are feasible. Because all of them were good ideas, but some of them might not be attainable right now.
Does anything stick out as to something that is terribly needed, something that's more important? I know it's all important, but is there anything that's... And anytime I ask for an opinion from people go, oh, my, he's asking an opinion. He can't do... No, I don't want an opinion necessarily, but what do you feel is... give me an example of what you feel, maybe 1 or 2 things that are badly needed for veterans here in Wayne County.
Well, there wasn't a specific... there wasn't a specific issue that was brought up. It was brought up more like of, issues of healthcare, issues of... everyday comforts, issues of, You know, so it was they're broad issues. There weren't anything specific.
Nothing specific.
Right.
Okay. And was this aimed primarily at those who will be separating or have separated from service?
All veterans.
All veterans.
The seasoned veterans, those that will be just getting out, everyone, because for those seasoned veterans, we want to make sure that they are still receiving and they're still in a place to get everything that they need, because, you know, as our veterans grow older, the needs change.
Yes.
But we also want to make the area inviting for those who are getting out, that they would then stay in the area. So it was for all veterans.
All right, very good. Well, if anyone has any comments about this, could they comment to you about it, about how they feel about, of course, we all love our veterans here in Wayne County, and we want them to have the very best available to them.
Right.
And all their needs. We want them to have access to all their needs. So how would someone comment? Do they write to their congressman? Do they write to the...
Actually, this is, again, where the advisory board comes in, because they would need to speak to members of the advisory board about the issues that they're having, or if they see a specific issue that they want to discuss, then they would need to speak with a member of the advisory board.
And I'm sure the advisory board everyone on the advisory board is very knowledgeable about the needs of service people and veterans. At the same time, there may be something that was left out that they hadn't thought about. And
This is true.
If you have an idea about something that would perhaps need to be discussed with the advisory board, how would they contact anyone with the advisory board?
It would be on an individual basis, because like the advisory board is broken up into the same districts as the commissioners.
I see.
And so you would need to contact the member that is in your district and give them your information.
And do the veterans know who their representative is in each individual district?
I'm going to say they should
They
know,
should know.
because the information has been out there as far as the different board members.
Yeah.
But in the very near future, hopefully, if you will post that on television, you'll have the information with the different board members and their district that they cover.
I think that's a great idea. We could get that information and we will post it on Channel 10 here at some point.
Right.
But not right this minute.
Not right
okay,
this minute.
We'll get that. And thank you so much for speaking with us today. And we've been talking with Sean Moore, the Veteran Service Officer here in Wayne County. And we've been talking about the Veterans Visionary, Visionary Veterans. What was the title again?
It was a visionary session.
Visionary session, that's what I meant to say, and I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sean. It's always good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Okay, we're back. I hope you learned something from Jessica, and she's always got a lot of great information there. Anyway, we'll talk more with Jessica coming up soon, and of course, Sean always doing a great job at the Veteran Services Office. We were talking about the Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair. This morning at 8 o'clock, the doors open to receive exhibits, including poultry.
Right.
And then at noon, all educational booths will be completed. The judging all individual exhibits and educational booths at 1 o'clock today. And then the gates open to the public at 4 o'clock. But everything is open out there to receive the exhibits and such.
Exactly. You can do all your setting up.
Yeah, and we were talking about what I like about the fair.
Remind them what it was.
Oh, I like the food, I think, more than anything. And of course, I'll be working the fair.
That's
The
right.
spelling contest. But I also enjoy watching people enjoy the fair. I like to watch people laugh. I like to watch the kids scream on the rides. I just enjoy that sort of thing. What do you like about the fair?
Oh, 'cause so many things.
Yeah.
One, I have to go over to the little area where they have all the local fire departments and local churches and all of that, and I have to get my yearly cheeseburger, french fries, and drink.
Well, now that's what when I say food, that's the area I'm talking about. Okay.
I have to go get that.
Okay.
And
Good for
I
you.
try to do different ones because I go
Right.
several nights. I try to visit different ones and, spread the love.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I've got to have my candy apple, caramel with nuts.
Really?
Just the way it is, a Granny Smith caramel apple with nuts. Yes, that's a must. And each year I try one new item, but they have some really unusual stuff, and sometimes, not so sure. Like when they had the cheeseburger that had a Krispy Kreme donut.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of pushing it for me.
Nah.
Not that adventurous. That kind of scared me a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Those taste buds weren't going together.
I know.
A lot of people tried it. But they have really, really good peanuts every year.
Oh, yeah.
You smell them all as you
yeah.
walk all around the fair, so I look forward to that. It's really the local folks that I like to really support and, you know, try to buy their foods
Oh, yeah,
as
all the
much
fire
as possible.
departments and rescue
Yeah.
squads out there. Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, and all the civic organizations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I like also to see people that I haven't seen in a long time,
Yeah.
because it's inevitable. You're going to see that.
That's right.
And of course, one of my favorite things is I like to go to Queen of the Fair. Surprise!
Yeah, right.
Surprise!
Well, you've been involved with pageants for so many years
Right,
anyway.
right. But these are all local girls. It's fun to see them, how they've worked together for weeks to get ready for this, and how they get up there and they present themselves. They have to speak clearly. They've had interviews. You know, girls learn so much from being a part of that, and it
Yeah.
can be a phenomenal experience
They do
for
learn
young
a lot
ladies.
from that, and they go on. Many of them go on into other pageants.
Oh, absolutely.
and
Scholarship
some of-
programs.
Yeah, and some of them do quite well.
They certainly do.
All right.
Certainly do.
Well,
So lots of exciting things happening for the next 10 days at the fair.
and I would love for you to go on your online to redcrossblood.org
That's right.
and find the next Red Cross blood drive near you.
Well, actually, let's
Yes.
see. What is today again?
Today is
26th?
Thursday, the 26th.
Well, there's one today.
There you
Surprise.
go.
There's one at Rosewood High School.
Oh, really?
So if you live out in the Rosewood area, it starts at 9 o'clock this morning. It'll be at Rosewood High School. Those that participate, of course, you're giving the gift of life, but you'll get a little token. You'll get a Adams Car Wash coupon,
that's nice.
which is always a nice little token, but that's not why we do it. We do it to save lives.
That's exactly right. 1 unit of blood can actually help 3 people. So this morning at 9 o'clock, be sure that you're at Rosewood giving blood if you have not given within the past 56 days. After that, now this program repeats throughout the day at noon and then again at 5:30 in the
That's right.
afternoon and then again later in the evening. So if we're beyond that point of 9 o'clock, go to the web and look up redcrossblood.org, put in your zip code, and you will get immediately a list of where all the next blood drives are going to be.
That's right. There's one almost every day.
Just about.
Just about
That's
every
just
day.
about right. So, well, is that a wrap for today?
I think it is.
Looks that way. Today's Thursday, and that means tomorrow, guests, hosts.
That's right. We'll have two filling in for Wayne and I. So we want you to watch the show and enjoy different hosts sitting here, and we'll be back on Monday.
That indeed we will. And until Monday, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.